All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for another ML Sports Take. It's all brought to you by our great friends at Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, World of Beer, Destiny USA, Syracuse, Stanley Law Offices, and Empower Federal Credit Union. Let's talk World Series. This series, I think, is going to be absolutely fantastic. Just right away, the big storylines. I think number one is you've got the coast versus coast, right? You got LA versus Tampa. The Lakers have won the NBA title. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Which coast gets the extra title here in Major League Baseball? That's number one. Number two, people are going to talk about it a million ways this Sunday, but you cannot ignore the payroll situation. As a Yankee fan, I never hear the end of it, of course, when they lose. For some reason, the Dodgers never get the equal amount of bullshit that the Yankees do when they don't win. They haven't won a World Series since 1988, and they've spent over, 1.5 or $6 billion the last 5 or so years on their payroll. Well, it's put up or shut up time now for the Dodgers. They're also going up against a team that has a payroll of just over $28 million. Another huge storyline, of course, is Clayton Kershaw. I heard Boog Shabby talking to the Buster Only podcast today about how he doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need to solidify anything because if you look at his fastball velocity, it's gone down. He's a pitcher who's starting to dwindle away. I have an issue with that. Why is he dwindling away at the age of 32? If he's one of the generation's great pitchers, there's two things that need to happen. One, you can't completely fall from an ace to a number 4 at the age of 32. That's number one. And number two is you do need to have postseason success. And look, the Dodgers, they don't exactly give them the 6, 7, 8 run offense right out of the chute. But guess what? Many times Tom Seaver, Whitey Ford, Bob Gibson, Curt Schilling, Madison Bumgarner, on and on and on it goes. Those guys didn't have that either. How many times did we see 2-1 or 1-0 ball games won? Hello, look at Game 7 of the 91 World Series, Jack Morris, John Smoltz. So when you look at those kind of situations, Clayton Kershaw can't win those games. I do think that there's a lot there. And obviously, Randy Arozarena has had an unbelievable postseason. Bombing the ball out against the Yankees, bombing the ball out against the Houston Astros, and now here we are in the World Series where the Cuban is going to be a huge factor, obviously. So those are some of the things that go wazoo right out of the chute here, right out of the cannon in terms of immediate storylines and things to look at. And as far as chess matches back and forth, I think the old cliche in baseball, I mean, in October, is anything used more than good pitching beats good hitting? Well, we're going to find out because you've got the Tampa Bay Rays, 3 aces, not 1, not 2, but 3 aces. Charlie Morton, Tyler Glasnow, who goes tonight in Game 1 against the aforementioned Kershaw. You've got those guys along with Blake Snell, and then a host of guys coming out of the bullpen from Anderson and Castillo and company. They can all throw 98. We've heard it a million ways this Sunday from Kevin Cash. But that's going to be the big thing for me. The elite arms of the Rays, and I'm not saying that the Dodgers don't have good starting pitching with Walker Buehler and a couple of others, and we saw Urias, of course, out of the bullpen in Game 7 against the Braves. But what I want to see here is that big matchup. I want to see the late big matchup. Castillo against Betts, 1-run game, 2 guys on, Dodgers down 1. What happens in that situation? Those are the matchups that you die for in October. So again, the best pitching in baseball of the Rays against the best lineup in the LA Dodgers, from Bellinger to Betts to Seager to Turner to Smith. Enrique Hernandez, of course, now getting in the act. It just goes to show you how deep and balanced this Dodger team is. That's going to be the number one thing from a baseball standpoint I'm looking for. And from a couple of other matchup perspectives, let's have a look here that the Rays actually have hit more home runs out than the Dodgers have. And I think that the Rays, their home run power sort of gets a little overlooked because they are so good at pitching and they are so good at defense and they are so good on occasion hitting getting that timely hit and that, base hit with 2 outs. The Dodgers, maybe with Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw and company, they're the ones who are going to need to keep the ball in the ballpark along the lines of guys like Meadows and Kiermaier and, of course, Arozarena and, Ji-Man Choi. So this is going to be a very, very fantastic series. It's going to be a fascinating series. And I think it could go either way. I'm going to get hit no matter what on social media because you just can't win on social media. I have people commenting on a video that I did. At the time, the Dodgers looked like crap. They were down 3-1 to the Braves. It looked like same old Dodgers. Over 15 innings, they had only scored 2 runs. Atlanta was reeking with confidence. Kershaw had just gotten hit like a baseball pinata yet again. And I said, it wasn't over just yet. but I don't feel like the Dodgers are going to come back. Well, obviously I was wrong. I already did a video on that to tell you I was wrong. Predictions go right and wrong both ways. But I don't know what it is with people who have to go back to a video that was recorded in time, and when 90% of the things that I said in the video were right. It's just the natural social media troll. People just cannot stop with that stuff. Clearly the Dodgers proved me wrong, and they're now in the World Series. But I think what you look at here too is LA is so due. I think this series could go either way. I think it's literally a coin flip. I think it's going 6-7 games. Without even thinking about it, this series is going 6 games in my opinion. But now that I've given deep thought to it, I'm going to go Dodgers in 7. I think, again, it could go either way. I repeat, for Rays fans, it could go either way, and I'm not going to be surprised if they win it. Dick Vitale, I'm not going to be surprised if they win it. Last thing I need is Dickie V coming after me. But I think that the Dodgers, at the end of the day, will have a wee bit more of something. That depth here, that versatility there. I just think it'll be a little bit more. But I'm not going to be surprised if Tampa wins it because of the things we talked about, countering with the bullpen, countering with the unbelievable firearms, countering with 3 aces, countering with the unheralded story of the postseason in terms of Randy Arozarena, whose name is just, you got to say it a million times to actually get used to it, Randy Arozarena, and his story, incredible, of course, defecting from Cuba, had to go to Mexico. Obviously, if you know the story about defected Cuban baseball players, you've got to get legally registered in 3 countries before you can be signed by Major League Baseball teams, so he had to go through that, kit and caboodle, but he is an unbelievable story. And the last thing I'll say about Arozarena is this. This is something you don't see in the NBA. You don't see it in the NFL. You don't see it in the NHL. Imagine in the NHL, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, a guy playing in the OHL and AHL the entire year, whatever the case may be, one or both of those leagues. And all of a sudden in March, the Boston Bruins say, hey, why don't you come join us for the playoff rounds, and that player wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. Imagine a D-League player getting called up to the NBA because of an injury and winning Finals MVP. Okay, think about the NFL, a quarterback, who you don't even know the entire season, and let's say a Tom Brady goes out and somebody gets called from a Canadian Football League team. This guy comes in and he actually doubles the numbers of Brady and wins Super Bowl MVP. That's what we're dealing with Arozarena here. We do not see this stuff in the other sports. That's what makes baseball just an unbelievable, glowing, incredible baseball postseason, amazing postseason, I should say. The baseball postseason, you have these moments where guys just rise to the occasion, the David Ecksteins and Dave Robertses and different players like that. This is one of those cases, but I think it's going to be a great series. I'm looking forward to it big time. I'll take the Dodgers in 7, knowing that it could go either way, and hope you can hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports throughout the entire Fall Classic, and of course, hit me on Instagram as well, Mike L Sports 1979. This is an ML Sports Take brought to you by our great friends over at Bryant and Stratton College, Rosie's Corner, Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, Camillus Golf Club, and the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.